totally wearing a cape. Hi everyone, I'm Gracie and welcome to the Gracie Note. Jared Leto, musician, actor, humanitarian, and tree hugger. Buckle up for that. But first, here are the G-Notes. G-Note number 1. Big tweet this week. Avril Lavigne is back in the studio and she recorded a full song. Here's her tweet that she sent out. Recorded a song in studio. She made it through and she hashtagged it milestone. Big read this week, Kendrick Lamar on the cover of Mass Appeal, the writer Gabriel Alvarez posed the question to Lamar. A kid on the internet pointed out that Section 80 is outlined like a book, and we're talking about his albums. Good Kid, Mad City like a film, and To Pimp a Butterfly like a poem. Is that how you see it, and was that planned? Yeah, definitely. There's actually a sketch of Braille that's added to the title inside the CD booklet that I don't think nobody has caught yet, Lamar said. You can actually feel the bump lines, but if you can, which is the irony of it, you can break down the actual full title of the album. So Complex contacted a teacher for the visually impaired who confirmed that the Braille reads A Blank Letter by Kendrick Lamar. So if we go back to the original question from Massive Appeal, a kid on the internet pointed out that Section 80 is outlined like a book, Good Kid, Mad City like a film, and To Pimp a Butterfly, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, a blank letter. Very, very cool. They're also asked, which I think is G-Note worthy. Kendrick Lamar is a big Tupac fan. If Pac was alive, what song off Butterfly Kendrick would choose for Pac to duet on? And Lamar said, The Blacker the Berry, which is very cool. Last in the G-Note window is a sad note from the Canadian children's music community. We lost from Sharon, Lois, and Bram. It's the Elephant Show, Lois. CBC News reports that at her funeral there was a mariachi band, and at the end there was a sprinkling of chocolate chips so that she could cook her famous brownies in heaven. Even when she's gone, she's still making us smile. Now the main event, 10 things you didn't know about Jared Leto. Now, Suicide Squad director David Ayer released on his official Twitter account the first photo of Jared Leto as the Joker. You can see his tattoos, you can see his sunken eyes, his makeup, hair, everything for the first time. It looks great. The costume designers and the stylists really have put their best foot forward on this for the DC Comics adventure. And for those of you who have not known Leto as more than an actor, he is also a humanitarian, a musician, and here are 10 things that you may not have known about him. My first experience with 30 Seconds to Mars was in 2013. I got to interview the band as part of one of my media outlet jobs. You can read my article in the comments below. And when I sat down, it was part of the Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams release. And when I sat down, I had my first listen notes and I had my questions. I asked a question about End of All Days, which was a track on the record. And Jared looked at me and he said, well, what did you think of the song? And that was the first time an artist had asked a question back. And it's my job to ask the questions. It's my job to pick and get the interview and ask about the creation of your art. Shannon kind of turned to him because I had started to look through my first listen notes to answer him, and he kind of said, well, you can't, it seemed like he wanted to say, can't you just tell me what you thought of the song? But, Shannon kind of said, well, she probably only heard it once, give her a sec. And Tomo kind of laughed it off, and it made me relax a little bit, and I came back with my answer. And in that moment it kind of made me realize this place and this channel, and I'm grateful for that moment because it made me realize I want to be part of the discussion. Number 1, 30 Seconds to Mars holds the Guinness World Record for most shows played during an album cycle. That's right, 30 Seconds to Mars played 309 shows in support of their album This Is War. Number 2, Jared Leto dives deep into album art. One of the things that I got to ask about was the cover art for Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams. I had seen that on his Instagram account. He had visited Damien Hirst's art gallery, and that translated to the Up in the Air music video. Many avenues through digital media, through social media, and it was amazing to ask about that process, about how collaborating with one artist's work inspired him was amazing. Number 3, Jared Leto is a team player. Any of the bands, the making of a music video or the behind the scenes production of a movie that he's been on, he talks about his fellow actors as if they are the greatest people, and he is so appreciative to work with them and to have them by his side, and the crew members and everyone that works with him as a whole, as a complete community. And it feels like he has worked behind the camera, in front of the camera. He has been a director. I really feel like bringing that kind of attitude to a movie like Suicide Squad, to a universe like DC Comics, to a franchise, a possible franchise that could set in motion this possible, 2016, 2017 and forward, is an amazing thing to put on his back. And when he attaches himself to another person's project, it seems like he gives all of his energy to their idea as well. And we saw that with Rayon. Who knows what will happen with the Joker? It's so exciting to see what he will let the director mold him into. Number 4, Jared Leto's alter ego is Bartholomew Cubbins. And a lot of the Echelon, which is the 30 Seconds to Mars fan base, a lot of the Echelon will know this, but in a lot of the older music videos from 30 Seconds to Mars, a lot of the end screen cap will say directed by Bartholomew Cubbins, and it's Jared Leto's alter ego. Sometimes on Instagram he'll post "I'm with Cubbins," and it'll mean he's in his creative process, he's in his creative state. It's just great, sometimes you got to give a name to your creative self. Jared Leto takes his music wherever he goes. In Dallas Buyers Club, the song from Love, Lust, City of Angels appears on the soundtrack. Leto starred in the 1999 flick Fight Club. He was Angel Face, starring Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, Helena Bonham Carter, and Meatloaf. I would do anything for love. However, the first rule is we can't talk about it. Number 7, he's not afraid to paint his face. If you're gonna get up on stage and you are gonna perform every night, I totally respect that. The band was recently in Russia, and here are some of the recent photos, the most recent photos of Jared Leto's face painting. And all through the years, he has had the craziest hair, he has had the Mars hawk, he is a chameleon. That is part of being an actor. He is not afraid to change. Number 8, Leto reminds us that we are powerful. This past February, Billboard interviewed Leto, and the quote that I took away from this article was, "No one has to give you permission to make music or make art." Number 9, he is connected to world events, and his fans also get involved. For example, Leto speaks out and donates to Japan and Haiti relief, and the Echelon creates groups and fan support like the Echelon Conference, The Gathering. And in honor of Jared Leto's birthday, they do things like plant 71,000 trees in his name. I mean, that's incredible. And not to mention the music. The music itself is what bonds these fans together, and these groups and communities also get together to discuss the music. And number 10, all songs on the 30 Seconds to Mars discography are written and composed by Jared Leto. Now, of course, there are some exceptions to this rule. For example, the song Convergence on Love Lust was written by Shannon Leto. However, to take on the wealth of work like that and sell albums, and, you know, if you've ever watched the documentary Artifact, where they were sued for $30 million by their record company, it can be frustrating to have all of your art put out there and then have things happen. This is a person who is capable of building something from nothing, is capable of being a team player, and no matter who you talk to, they have a reaction. And that is very important. No one can deny that he is a hard worker. Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode of the Gracie Note. Check back next Friday for an all-new show. And as always, be graceful. Totally wearing a cape.